and thanks for joining us for our very first show from the 75th Cannes Film Festival.
Over the next 2 weeks, we'll be bringing you the latest from one of the world's most exciting showcases of cinema.
And we're going to start with the opening film, a French zombie comedy called Final Cut.
C'est un peu abstrait l'histoire, non?
You've seen it before most people. What's the pitch?
Well, this is really a love letter to cinema, specifically those B movies that are characterized by some overacting, gimmicky camera angles and liters of fake blood. The story is about a filmmaker who agrees to do a French remake of a Japanese zombie horror movie, despite his misgivings about the script, the whole pitch. And of course, they've got some very serious constraints that the Japanese producers impose upon them. One condition is that they have to do the whole film in one 30-minute take. The camera can never stop rolling, and that gives rise to some physical comedy from the actors. You have Bérénice Bejo, Romain Duris, Grégory Gadebois, and newcomer Mathilde Lutz. And of course, there's the suspense of will they, won't they manage it?
Well, it certainly sounds intriguing. You've been speaking to one of the stars of the film, Bérénice Bejo, whose husband directed it.
I declare the 75th Cannes Film Festival open.
Bérénice Bejo, hello.
Hello.
Final Cut is a case of art imitating life a bit, because we see a filmmaker directing his actress wife, and the director of this film, Michel Hazanavicius, is your partner. But I believe he didn't want you to star in the film originally. How did you get the role?
He was writing something about a movie, the set of a movie, a making of a movie. And he wrote the script and he said, you know, I'm so sorry, but I think you will not be in that movie. I think you're too pretty. And I was like, too pretty? What does that mean? I mean, nobody is too pretty or ugly or whatever. That's not the point. Or you're the character or not. And he's like, yeah, I don't know, I'm looking maybe something different. I'm like, okay. And then he had the COVID and he was in bed for 2 weeks. It was very hard. And I was reading other script. And at one point, I was like, please, I want to send the script to the producer and I want to know what you think about it. So I sit down, my son was next to me, and I start reading the script, and I start laughing and laughing. So I go and see Michel that I was, you know, giving breakfast in bed, lunch in bed, coffee at 4 o'clock in bed, dinner in bed, and her daughter was the same, and I was cleaning everything, you know, every day for 1 week. And I go to see him, and I said, you know, I read your script, it's really so funny. The movie is gonna be so good. I want to be in it. It's like, darling, if you think you can do it, just do it.
C'est génial! Oui, dégueu! C'est un chef-d'œuvre, putain! Fais tes adieux, sac à merde!
Now, this is a parody of filmmaking, and it is very, very funny. But the comedy here is a bit different to what we've seen you do in OSS 117 or The Artist. How did you achieve that comic tone?
You know, actors don't do a comic tone. They play the scene. So if the scene is well written, you read it and it's already funny. Then you have to find the rhythm and the flow, and that's when Michel is a really good actor-director. He does lots of takes and sequence shots. Every day we work for 1 month, everyone, all the actors together and the crew. And then, yeah, I mean, at one point we were exactly what Michel wanted us to be.
Your character, Nadia, has some doubts about her legitimacy, about whether she really wants to be an actress despite her talents. Is that something you identify with, that hesitation, ambivalence about the profession?
Well, Nadia has a big problem. When she acts, she is too much involved and she believes too much what she's doing. So when it comes to do a zombie movie where she has to kill zombie, you can imagine that it's kind of dangerous. For me, I always wanted to be an actress, and I always worked a lot to achieve my ambition. And I think now, after 25 years of doing this job, I don't have a problem of legitimacy, but I always have a stress when I start a movie. or when I play, because I really want to do my best. So this is still here, and I like it. I like it to feel that way.
Je t'aime. Hein, voilà. Voilà, ça y est. On continue, c'est génial. Enfin. Voilà. Je l'ai.
S'il te plaît, Ken.
Ah, magnifique. Je vous laisse.
You were Mistress of Ceremonies here at the Cannes Film Festival at the 65th Cannes Film Festival 10 years ago. You were back then on stage the following year to pick up the prize for Best Actress for Ashghar Farhadi's The Past. Ashghar is on the jury this year. If you could name something that film left with you, what would it be?
So much. Asghar taught me so much. He really taught me that acting is the whole body. It's not just what you say and how you look. It's everything of your body, and really to take the screen, to really just go for it. Not, you know, if you're in the middle of a scene, you want to scratch your... Everything means something. Everything you do is important, but do it. Do it for a reason.
Now, Final Cut was originally called Z, and the name of the movie was changed just before the festival, sort of for political reasons. Can you explain why that was important?
Z is now for the Russian army a sign of victory. It's like La Croix Gammée for Hitler. It's really hard for the Ukrainian people to see a Z. And I mean, the poster is everybody in blood. I'm actually in yellow and blue band, and Z, it was impossible. And some distributor or Ukrainian directors wrote to Michel telling him that it was very hard for them to see a Z at the opening of this really important international festival. So it was not even a question. We did it, and we are very happy to do it. And actually, Coupé or Final Cut, it's a better title. So again, a strange and really weird situation turned on a really important statement, and also a good thing for the movie, I think.
Bérénice Bejo, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Par contre, rigole pas. Non, je te jure, te marre pas. C'est moi qui suis un écran, mec.
The zombie comedy Final Cut is the opening film at this year's Cannes Film Festival. What's the verdict?
Well, I think this is the perfect way to kick off the festival. It's lively, it's funny, it reminds us of why we like going to the movies, and it doesn't have the pressure of competing for the Palme d'Or because it's showing out of competition. And it gives us this insight into the behind-the-scenes world of filmmaking, the sort of compromises, artistic compromises that a director has to make to get his film made. It brings up the question of competition in the era of streaming, management of star egos, let's say, and also that question of how to reconcile your creative ambitions with having a decent family life. There's another meta detail here as well, because Final Cut is actually a remake of a Japanese low-budget zombie horror that was made in 2017, which was called One Cut of the Dead, referring to that one take. And it was a sleeper hit, it was a real success. So I think Michel Hazanavicius was inspired to make his own version.
Well, Final Cut is one of more than 100 films that have been selected for this year's Cannes Film Festival. And someone we're all looking forward to seeing on the red carpet is Tom Cruise, who's here with the Top Gun follow-up. I've seen it, but my lips are sealed. What are you most looking forward to?
It's true, there's always a buzz in the air here in Cannes when the stars arrive, and we might see something like that for the premiere of Baz Luhrmann's Elvis films, when Tom Hanks may or may not grace the red carpet with his presence. But personally, I'm really interested to see what some of the big names in competition will be bringing. People like Ruben Östlund, who won the Palme d'Or in 2017, Hirokazu Koreeda, Korean filmmaker Park Chan-wook, who made a stunning debut here in 2004 with Old Boy, and the very young filmmaker Lucas Dont. I'm interested to see his new work. But I think the great thing about Cannes is really the surprises, going to a film that you know nothing about, going to see something made by a filmmaker who's completely unknown, and getting the feeling that you might be discovering the next Quentin Tarantino in one of the screening rooms here in Cannes.
Well, we're certainly very excited. Do join us over the next 2 weeks for our daily interviews with some of the many talent here at the Cannes Film Festival.
And I'll be popping up live throughout the day to give you my thoughts on all of the films.
You can also find out what's going on behind the scenes on our social media accounts and read more in-depth reviews on our website, france24.com.
Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.
Party had to be so crazy. Sun kissed by the Cali. All the girls got the bodies. Take a shot on Shorty. High key never faded.
3 years ago, the images of the fire that engulfed the medieval church of Notre Dame in Paris made headlines around the world. After the initial shock, thousands of men and women, including architects, scientists, or painters, started working around the clock to restore the building to its former glory. Notre Dame Revisited on France 24 and France24.com.